Brighton just recorded -2 degrees Celsius, whilst Aberdeen sits at a relatively balmy 6 degrees. Yes, you heard that correctly. The south coast is colder than the northeast of Scotland this morning, and if you think that S unusual, wait until you see what S developing over the next 72 hours. Is your area about to face the most significant temperature swing we've seen this winter? Right now, the Met Office has amber warnings covering 14 counties across England and Wales, affecting over 12 million people. By the end of this forecast, you will know exactly when this arrives in your specific location, which areas face the most severe conditions, and critically, what tomorrow's model updates might change. Drop your city or county in the comments right now and I'll give you a personalized forecast in tomorrow's video. Let me start with the timings for our major population centres. London, you are looking at rain arriving Thursday evening around 7 o'clock, turning to sleet by midnight. Snow likely Friday morning. Manchester, snow begins earlier, Thursday afternoon around 2 o'clock, heaviest overnight Thursday into Friday. Birmingham sits right on the boundary, could go either way, but I'll explain why in just a moment. Glasgow, you are actually escaping the worst of this, staying mostly dry through Friday. Cardiff, rain Thursday evening, heavy at times, but staying too mild for snow initially. Belfast, you are in an interesting position that I'll come back to at the 3-minute mark. Now, here is what makes this situation particularly complex. We've got a deep Atlantic low-pressure system currently west of Ireland, and it is going to track southeast across the UK over the next 48 hours. The Met Office unified model and the European model agree on the track, but there's a crucial 50-mile difference in exactly where that low crosses the country. That 50 miles determines whether Birmingham sees rain or 10 centimetres of snow. It determines whether the M25 faces disruption or complete chaos. And here's the thing, we want to know for certain until tomorrow morning S model runs. So yes, you absolutely need to check back tomorrow because the situation will become much clearer. Let me walk you through what S happening right now across the UK. Currently, we've got high pressure centered over Scandinavia, and that S pulling in this cold easterly flow. That S why Brighton is sitting at -2, whilst Aberdeen, protected by the mountains and getting a southwesterly off the Atlantic, is at 6 degrees. It's a classic temperature inversion, and it won't last. That Atlantic low I mentioned is going to smash through this pattern, but as it does, it is going to drag even colder air down from the north behind it. Newcastle, you are currently at 3 degrees, dropping to -1 Friday with wind chill reaching -6. Leeds and Sheffield face similar conditions, with the Pennines seeing 20 to 30 centimetres on higher ground. Nottingham sits in that transition zone, probably 5 to 10 centimetres. Oxford and Cambridge are marginal cases. This is exactly why I need you to drop your location in the comments. Scotland's situation is interesting. Edinburgh and Glasgow stay relatively mild through this event, perhaps seeing some rain Friday, but nothing dramatic. However, Inverness and Aberdeen get the backlash Saturday with snow showers from the north, potentially 5 to 8 centimetres. Belfast faces rain Thursday evening, but Friday morning could see a brief temperature crash, turning that rain to snow. Higher ground around Belfast, County Down and County Antrim might see 3 to 5 centimetres. Derry stays mainly rain, remaining too mild. Wales needs attention. Cardiff and Swansea stay on the mild side with heavy rain Thursday through Friday, potentially 40 to 50 millimetres. Bangor and North Wales could see rain turn to snow Friday morning, with Snowdonia receiving 25 to 35 centimetres above 300 metres. The Midlands face the greatest uncertainty. Birmingham, Coventry and Leicester sit right on that critical boundary. The Met Office model keeps you mild enough for rain, whilst the European model suggests snow with 5 to 8 centimetres settling. Tomorrow's runs should clarify this. Southern England requires careful attention. Plymouth and Exeter stay too mild with rain and winds gusting to 70 or 80 kilometres per hour Friday. Dover, Brighton, Portsmouth and Southampton face Thursday night into Friday morning as the critical period, with temperatures hovering right around 0 to 1 degree. Dover most likely sees snow given proximity to continental cold air. Brighton probably stays too mild for settling snow. Central London urban heat island keeps it warmer, likely rain or wet snow that doesn't settle, but northeastern suburbs like Enfield and Barnet could see 2 to 4 centimetres. The M25 Friday morning rush hour could face severe disruption. Eastern England faces definite snow. Norwich at 5 to 8 centimetres by Friday morning, Ipswich 3 to 6 centimetres. Cambridge remains marginal, whilst Peterborough likely sees 4 to 7 centimetres. The northwest sees significant snow. Liverpool gets 8 to 12 centimetres starting Thursday afternoon. The M62 across the Pennines becomes treacherous Thursday night. Manchester receives 10 to 15 centimetres in northern areas. Peak intensity Thursday evening, 6 to 10 o'clock. Preston, Lancaster sees similar amounts, whilst Blackpool might see rain mixing in. Yorkshire faces snow Thursday evening. York probably gets 7 to 11 centimetres by Friday morning. Bradford and Leeds see similar or slightly more. Scarborough on the coast might see initial rain mixing, but still expecting several centimetres settling. Let me pause here at the 3-minute mark and say again, drop your location in the comments. Tomorrow's forecast will be much more specific because we'll have the overnight model runs, and I genuinely want to give you personalised information for your area. The situation is fluid, and that S, not me hedging, that S meteorological reality. We're dealing with a system where 1 degree of temperature makes the difference between rain and significant snow. The southwest and Welsh borders need attention. Bristol currently sits at 3 degrees with rain arriving Thursday evening around 8 o'clock. The question for Bristol is whether that turns to snow Friday morning. Currently, models suggest you stay just mild enough, but at S borderline. Gloucester and Cheltenham, being further inland and at higher elevation, have better chances at 3 to 6 centimetres. Swindon faces similar prospects. Reading and Slough probably stay as rain or wet snow that doesn't settle much. Worcester, Hereford and Shrewsbury all face snow Thursday night into Friday, potentially 8 to 14 centimetres. The Malvern Hills and Welsh border elevations could see 15 to 20 centimetres, significant accumulation for this time of year. Saturday brings a second phase as the low moves into the North Sea. High pressure attempts to build from the west, but cold air establishes across the UK with wintry showers developing, particularly down the east coast. Newcastle, Middlesbrough, Hull and Grimsby all see persistent snow or sleet showers. Individually, they not significant, maybe 1 to 2 centimetres at a time, but they'll be frequent through the day. East Anglia faces similar conditions. Norwich and Ipswich should expect showery weather Saturday. Scotland's Saturday forecast divides the country. The central belt, Edinburgh and Glasgow, actually looks quite decent with some brightness and showers dying out. But the east coast and northeast tell a different story. Aberdeen faces snow showers coming down from the north, potentially heavy at times. Dundee sits in the firing line too. 5 to 8 centimetres possible Saturday, maybe more if showers persist into Sunday. Northern Ireland improves dramatically Saturday. Belfast sees showers dying out with brighter spells developing, much better than Friday. Wales clears Friday evening with Saturday looking much improved across the nation generally, though some showers remain possible in the north. Now, there's one detail that concerns me most about this forecast. Sunday night into Monday, signals suggest another Atlantic system approaching. If this develops as some models indicate, we could face similar conditions Monday into Tuesday. But 6 days out, models remain highly uncertain, and I want to speculate on specifics. However, be aware that this unsettled pattern looks set to continue into next week. Wind becomes a significant factor Friday as the low deepens and tracks across the UK. The English Channel sees gusts to 90 kilometres per hour. Western coasts face 70 to 80 kilometres per hour. Inland areas still experience 50 to 60 kilometres per hour. This causes problems even in areas avoiding snow. Trees could come down, power cuts are possible, and exposed areas face particularly difficult conditions. If you've got fences or garden furniture needing securing, Thursday is the day to sort that. Temperature-wise, let me give you the weekend outlook more specifically. Saturday daytime highs show London around 4 degrees, Manchester 3 degrees, Birmingham 4 degrees, Edinburgh 6 degrees, Cardiff 7 degrees, Belfast 6 degrees. We staying cold across most of England and Scotland, milder in Wales and western areas generally. Sunday brings very similar temperatures. This cold spell persists through the weekend with no quick relief coming. The compounding factors here create serious concern. We've got snow, wind, very cold temperatures, and crucially, this happens on a Friday. That is the worst day for travel disruption. Thursday evening sees people trying to get home from work. Friday morning brings school runs and commuters all during the worst conditions. If this occurred on a Sunday, impacts would be far less severe. Timing matters enormously in weather forecasting. Let me discuss the models technically. The Met Office Unified Model has shown consistency across recent runs, tracking the low west to east across central England. The European ECMWF model has wobbled between north and south tracks. The Met Office Ensemble Suite shows a 70% snow probability for Manchester, 60% for Birmingham, 40% for London. These are for accumulating snow over 2 centimetres. The synoptic setup involves a cold conveyor belt wrapping around the low, where snow is most likely. and a warm conveyor belt ahead bringing rain. The boundary between them crosses central England, creating our uncertainty zone. The jet stream shows a deeply amplified pattern with a trough over the Atlantic and a ridge over Scandinavia, producing our cold easterly flow initially. Practical advice for Friday travel becomes critical. Genuinely consider whether your journey is necessary. If you must travel, leave substantially more time than normal. Pack a winter kit in your car, including warm clothes, blankets, food, water, a fully charged phone, and a torch. Check traffic updates before setting off. Rail services will likely face significant disruption, with delays and cancellations probable. Flights could be affected at various airports. If you are flying Friday, check with your airline Thursday evening and again Friday morning before heading to the airport. For those with elderly neighbours or vulnerable relatives, Thursday provides the opportunity to check they've got everything needed. If power goes out, do they have alternative heating? Do they have enough food for several days? Do they have medications? A brief check could make a substantial difference to their well-being. Schools in affected areas will likely close Friday or open late. Check your School S website or social media Thursday evening and Friday morning for updates. At this 12-minute mark, I want to emphasize again, please drop your location in the comments. I read every single comment, and tomorrow's video will address specific questions from today's comments. If there is something particular you want to know about your area, ask now, and I'll do my best to answer it tomorrow when we have considerably better model data. Beyond the weekend, Monday looks cold but largely dry for most areas. That's your window if you need to accomplish essential tasks outdoors. Tuesday onwards shows potential for another system, but genuinely, uncertainty remains too high to specify details. Wednesday and beyond enter the realm of extended forecasting where specifics become unreliable. The pattern suggests cold conditions might persist into the following week, though confidence decreases with each passing day. The long-range signals carrying very low confidence suggest possible transition into a milder, more Atlantic-dominated pattern towards mid-month, but that's 2 weeks away, and forecasting specifics that far out simply isn't a reliable meteorology. What I can say with confidence, this cold spell definitely persists through this weekend. Saturday and Sunday both bring cold days. Early next week maintains cold conditions. Whether additional snow arrives depends on Atlantic systems tracking through, and models show uncertainty on that question. For those enjoying winter weather, this could provide a decent opportunity, especially in northern England and Scotland, where accumulations look most significant. For those who dislike winter conditions, I am sorry, but it appears we are facing at least a week of cold, unsettled weather. UK weather fascinates me because of how marginal these situations often prove. 1 degree of temperature, 50 miles in a storm track, these tiny differences create huge variations in impacts. That's why certainty becomes impossible beyond certain timeframes, and that's precisely why tomorrow's forecast will prove more valuable than today's once we see overnight developments. The thing about UK weather that always fascinates me is how marginal these situations often are. 1 degree of temperature, 50 miles in a storm track, these tiny differences create huge variations in impacts. That is why certainty is impossible beyond a certain time frame, and that's why tomorrow's forecast will be more valuable than today's once we see how this evolves overnight. So, to briefly recap where we are, Thursday evening into Friday, significant snow possible across central and northern England, parts of Wales, far northeast Scotland, southern England and the Midlands borderline, strong winds affecting most areas Friday, very cold weekend following, another system possible early next week but highly uncertain. The areas most likely to see significant snow, northwest England, Yorkshire, northeast Midlands, North Wales. The areas least likely, far southwest England, central southern England, central Scotland. Everyone else, you read somewhere in between. And that's genuinely where the uncertainty lies. What should you check back for tomorrow? More specific timing, more specific amounts, and critically, that model update overnight will tell us whether Birmingham sees rain or snow. It'll tell us whether London sees a dusting or several centimetres. It'll tell us whether Belfast sees that snow Friday morning or if it stays as rain. These are the details that matter, and these are the details we'll have tomorrow. One final thing to watch, the Met Office warning system. Currently, there is an amber warning for parts of England and Wales. That could be upgraded to red for specific areas if the snow looks particularly heavy. It could be downgraded to yellow if the mild air wins out. Watch the Met Office warnings Thursday. They'll update as the situation becomes clearer, and they have the authority to make those calls in a way that I don't Thank you for watching. Tomorrow, S video will be published at the same time, mid-morning, with those updated forecasts and answers to your comments. If this video helped you prepare for what S coming, that S, brilliant. Stay safe, look after each other, and I'll see you tomorrow with much more specific information for your